maybe, hopefully, this can transpire and persist going ahead into the future for the Celtics because let's face it, the Celtics have really, I mean, they've swindled, they've duped us as of late, thinking, oh yeah, they're gonna turn the corner. Oh, they had a good
Right.
win here. No, nope, 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 nope. Celtics have not done that as of late. They've put up this type of performance as of late, but we know their capability in doing so. And really tonight, I want to say this is a better Orlando Magic team than we saw down in Orlando that really gave us a lot of trouble, beat us. I mean, let's face it, they beat us in that game. Give us a lot of trouble, and we lost that game. They beat us in that particular game, and really coming out against this opponent tonight, much better squad too than the Raptors. I think the
Mhm.
Celtics. It's crazy because they're trying to make statements in a few of these games, like the Rockets game. Justin, you mentioned, okay, yeah, that was kind of a statement game. And maybe they're getting their feet wet and really getting themselves their mojo back under them because the night before was Minnesota, and that was a back to back. It was
Yeah.
Minnesota and then Houston. It was like, okay, here we go, and then we come out strong against Oklahoma City. We won't talk about what happened, what else happened in that particular game,
It's
but
going to be
then
game
we
5
come
of the
out
NBA
strong.
Finals.
We come out
Let's say
strong against Denver. It's true. We're gonna just be mentioning it all season, but really, really, we come out strong against Denver too in that first quarter, and that really seemed like a stretch in which the Celtics were trying to really get it going, but then they come home and it looks awful. So right now we kind of gotta take it with a grain of salt a little bit how tonight's win has gone, but it was in reality I think one of the best wins of the season from what the Celtics just came off of, how they responded, how they played, and we're going to have to see more wins stacked on top of this before we really believe in this
Right.
team moving forward. But again, it's just it's good stepping stone potentially because you
Well,
have to get the first one out of the way first. I mean, that's
right.
just what it has to be for the Boston Celtics. It's not all going to come on one night in January at this point in time.
I really hope I don't come back here um, next post game show and have to retract the statement. But this one felt a little bit different to me.
Yeah.
This type of win, it felt a little bit different. And again,
Well,
Seamus, I really agree. Take it with a grain of salt. It is their first good win, in my opinion, in probably the month of January. Again, Houston was good, but it was kind of the same play style we had seen. It didn't felt different. It just kind of felt like the shots were going in. But tonight it was at home. You've been putrid at home this season. It was on ESPN. It was against a really good defensive Orlando Magic team, and they did what they needed to do. So it felt a little bit different to me, guys, tonight versus kind of what we've seen because of, again, what we've been asking for. Switch it up, change it up, do something new. And they did that. And I think that's a positive.
you know why I feel as if it felt different? Obviously, for every reason you just stated, but also, like, don't forget, like, most of these wins in the last 15 games are like, oh, win is a win. Oh, we just scraped by. Like, we truly dominated tonight. Like, they really dominated. And then you're coming off this West Coast trip where, yeah, you did go 3-1. You had some really solid wins in there. Absolutely, for sure. But if you ask me, Seamus, I'm going to feed into it. That second half in Oklahoma City, that, like, I'll feed into it a little bit. We talk about being 3-1 in that road trip. It really didn't feel like 3-1 because of how poorly the Celtics played in that Oklahoma City game. And then that Denver game without Jokic, Celtics did win that game by double digits, but don't let that final score, really tell you anything. Nuggets hung around in that game. They held their own in that game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you come home and you're like, okay, 3-1 road trip, like, or, here we go. Sacramento blows us out in the fourth quarter. Celtics lose by 17 at home. And then you take it throughout the New Orleans games. Oh, a win is a win. That was like the worst win I've ever witnessed, by the way. It was like, it really should have, it's one of those games where you go into the locker room and you're just as pissed off if you lost a game because you won the game so horrifically. And then you lay a giant egg against the Toronto Raptors, a giant egg against the Toronto Raptors. So, this is the first time it really feels like we won a game in a little bit, despite being every other game we've actually won a game. It really feels like the Celtics took this game and ran with it. And that's exactly what they did. And we did a few moments ago, we looked at the lead tracker. You saw that lead fluently just go up and up and up and up. It's not like it teetered a little bit. It's not like Boston had it to 27 and Orlando cut it to 18. No, Boston, when they ran away with it, they ran away with it. And this was a really, really good win for them. But again, like Seamus just mentioned, I don't know if this is enough. We need to see more games similar to this, not necessarily from a blowout standpoint, but from the execution standpoint, to really kind of build that trust back. Not that we lost a tremendous amount of it, but to be out of this slump, we need to see more of what we saw tonight for 48 minutes.
Would it be fair to say that this was the almost what feels like could be the shift-changing game? I mean, we've said stepping stones. We've been repeating ourselves, stepping stones. Right. We have enough rocks to be skipping them. I think that they're doing a good job of really getting that reputation out of the way. I think that was the real camel that broke or the straw that broke the camel's back was the last loss. I think that they really have been playing with a lot of reputations on the line. Not to feed into narratives or anything, JB not even able to make Team USA. Jason Tatum not being able to play for Team USA while getting minimal minutes, if any. I think that really kind of triggered them and really forced them to really focus in on their individual performances. And I think they just decided to cut the shit. I think that they really decided to take things into their own hands and really stop playing for themselves. I think they started to play as a team and as a collective, as you guys said, but I think this is a real momentum changer just due to the fact of how they won tonight's game, not the fact that they won by 27 points. I think if they wanted to the momentum, it would have been during their blowout win against the Raptors a few weeks ago, but I don't think that was enough, because that was really a whole bunch of independent performances. You didn't see too much of the team mending together. This was the first time you really saw the team gel.
So I'm going to say something real quick. And I don't know if it's so this is my vision. This season is very, very similar to 2022, 2023 in terms of the course of it. Both teams through the first 25 games were shooting at a historic clip from behind the arc. Shots were falling. It was good. Then the next 20 games, the shots stopped falling, got a little bumpy. It was rough. The next is the question mark for me. Now, I do want to preface this. While it can play a lot like the 2022-2023 season in my mind, this team, talent-wise, is so much more advanced than that 2022-2023 team, where, for me, I do think there could potentially be in the future another stretch of 5 or so games that the Celtics go back to sleep. And to me, that's what tonight showed me, that the Celtics, and you know what? I was wrong, right? I said this, I came on the Raptors show and I said, this isn't an effort. This isn't energy. This is them not being able to perform. And I was wrong. No, this is effort. This is energy. So I do want to say, I think in this game changes my outlook a little bit. Thank you. You know, I take accountability when I'm wrong.
Bullshit you do. Okay.
But I do want to say, like, if there is another bad stretch, this game changes my outlook, I think, because it shows me that this team is so good and so talented, where in the playoffs, they know what to do. They know how to perform. They know what works and what doesn't. My one concern and why I need this trend to keep going is because I'm a firm believer that momentum is everything in the playoffs. And if you head into the playoffs not performing well and not doing the little things and not having good habits, that can really bite you in the ass. Yeah. And that is why. So I will say this, there could be another bad stretch of basketball, right? And this team might be very similar to 2022, 2023 in terms of how the season's playing out. They're sleeping. They're really not waking up for so many games, but their talent, what Brad Stevens has put together, guys, I think that is good enough for this team to be ready to go come April. There's a lot of ball left, but I'm expecting them to be ready to go. With that said, build good habits.